Hello and welcome. My guest today is one of the world's greatest chefs. I say this on the basis of objective criteria. His restaurant, Osteria Francescana in Modena in Italy, has been rated as the world's best restaurant. In fact, it was rated the best restaurant so often that they've now removed it from the competition and are giving other people a chance. The restaurant's had 3 Michelin stars for years. It was one of the first restaurants to get a fourth green star from Michelin for being sustainable. But much more than all of that, he's also the man who reinvented Italian cuisine, who took what was basically a homely cuisine and made it fun and yet haute cuisine in its own way. He's the man who's taken the idea of food and feeding people to a new level because he feeds people for free often. His food is about joy. And he shows a commitment and a responsibility to the world that many chefs sadly do not have. Massimo Bottura, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for your super kind introduction. I'm very happy to be here with you because I love to conversate with you and I love to talk with you and develop ideas.
You're in India now for the third time. You've come every year for 3 years.
Yeah.
Now I know, and I think most people will know, you're much in demand. It takes several months to get a booking at your restaurant in Modena.
Yeah.
You get requests every week to go to different countries.
Yeah.
Usually you say no.
Yeah.
And yet here you are third year in a row. What is it about India that attracts you?
You know exactly what I think. And you know that I love at this point of my life to spend time with the people I love.
Okay.
And this is what really makes me happy. And if I'm like this in this kind of state of mind, I share joy and happiness with everyone. Otherwise, I just share sadness, and this is this is not what I want. But India ever has a very special place in my heart, and that's why every year with Alessandro I say I want to go back, because usually I don't go back in places where I've already been, because I love to discover more. I love to open myself to other cultures, meet new people, meet interesting people, because I believe in contamination, in the wise contamination. Wise contamination is open your mind and makes you a better person.
Okay.
And this is something. But here, I discover something more deep. Friendship, first of all.
Yeah.
With you, with Raj, but also I discover there are like a little kindness. For someone like myself. Like that. I always think we have to change the world.
Yeah.
If you can change your own neighborhood, if you can change a little foundation, for kids, it's a big deal.
Yep.
It's really a big deal. And so if I can do something for them, it's very special.
It's fulfilling.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about that because when I meet chefs who come to India, they come and they say, oh, we love the tandoor and we love your spices. I think you love all of those things. But more than most other chefs, the reason you come to India is not just the food, it's the culture and the people.
I love the people. I love the people and I love the kindness of the people. It's like, it's like, I'm not coming here for Indian food, of course.
Of course, yeah.
I'm like, I love to spend time, our conversation, are always something, there's always something, a sparkle of something very special that is coming out. And, but also, the way, people treat you, the feeling that you have, looking into the eyes, listen to these kids singing for you, or like the kindness of the warm welcoming, means everything for us. Because, from these things reminds me the essence of our job.
Yeah.
Our job is about restaurant. Restaurant comes from the Latin word reficere, that means to restore. Restore the soul of the guests They are traveling, come to your place, and you have to restore that soul from tiredness. And I think one of the words that I care the most, buongiorno, benvenuti, welcome, come in. It's like with the right meaning, has a very deep meaning. If it's fake, you can feel it immediately. If it's like from the bottom of your heart, change everything.
I wanted to ask you about that because though you're one of the best restaurants in the world, and many years just the best restaurant in the world, and you have 3 Michelin stars. Yeah. When you go to a 3 Michelin star restaurant, it's often intimidating. The food is often frightening because you don't really understand what's going on. Your restaurant is welcoming, and all of the food is filled with joy, with happiness. Yeah. Is that something that means a lot to you?
One of the things we work the most is service. Okay. Service and welcoming. I keep saying to my team and to my maître d' that is working with me since 24 years, just make sure that the service has to make everyone feels home. Not like in a 3 Michelin star, but even the old tasting menu was like, since the beginning, you eat with your hands, you know, and because we want to make sure that it's not like that kind of restaurant. But also the food, I never went on compromises with Michelin, you know. I create my own food, and my own food is an essence, a compression of all my passion. My passion are art, music, poetry, and what else? But I'm sitting on centuries and centuries of history because my food is deeply Italian, you know. But you know, filter by a contemporary mind. So contemporary mind means my food is extremely contemporary, as is you know, riding the time that we are living. It's never nostalgic. It's always projected into the future. But to be like this, you have to have, future is not a place. Future is a state of mind. Or you have it or you don't have it. And you know, if you have it inside, you know, you're always projected about the future. And this is what really interests me.
You know, many French chefs have said to me that the trouble with your food compared to ours is that French food is a collection of techniques, and we improvise, we create, we invent. Your food is just a collection of recipes, and you make the same dishes again and again. Now, 15 years ago, they used to say the same thing about Italian food. And when Italian chefs tried to be creative, they went the French way. And in India, that's happened as well. When our chefs abroad have tried to be creative, they've done French-style plating or whatever. You broke with that because your food was determinedly Italian.
I don't think French food is creative.
No?
I think French food is very classic. You know, even the most creative one, at the end, they always have that kind of touch and sauces and, you know, show, technique. I think Indian food has that kind of traditional Italian approach as traditional Italian food. Right. The Japanese food is very similar to the Italian as I interpret the Italian food.
Explain what's the similarity apart from the noodles.
Let's go and let's think about 5 different very important cuisine in the world. Okay. One is the Chinese and one is the French. Okay. They're very similar. Okay, because it's a very about technique and lot of sauces. Sauces. Sometimes those sauces, they're like cover everything and you don't feel anything. Italian food is another very important because I'm talking about the 5 probably most important cuisine in the world. Right. Italian food is like as a double split. One that is very traditional, and sometimes I feel we have to preserve it, but also evolve it. what I do in Italian food, I bring the best from the past into the future. Okay. So I'm never nostalgic, but always critic. I share the two things and bring the best into the future. Indian cuisine, for what I have learned during the years, is very traditional.
Yes.
You know, even you know, for example, I had a Goa experience with these two amazing friends, and I was trying several different preparations that reminds me not just Portuguese food, but also some Italian preparation, like la crocchetta with like I think about the not the tongue, the tail, the tail, la coda alla vaccinara, like Roman style, but brought into a crocchetta, and I feel is like I was in Italy, you know, I felt. But my way, my approach to Italian food is much more straight and with a creative process that reminds me to contemporary art, because I have a lot of connection with contemporary art, and the cha-cha with the artist brings us to another planet. And to arrive at the essence of the things, you know, it's very similar to the Japanese cuisine. That is the fifth cuisine we are talking about. Okay. Because both of us are obsessed about the quality of the ingredients, and both of us, we use technique just that kind of enough to let the ingredient express themselves. Yeah. So that's pureness in the palate. So there's so much similarity in these kind of things that, you know, is still there. And, you know, I still think these are the most influential cuisine in the world.
Thank you. I'm glad you included Indian among it. But when you see...
But, you know, you think about India, and think about how complex is north, south, east, west, center of the cities, outside the cities. You know, I came here many times.
Yes. And you've eaten
everywhere. I've eaten everywhere. I met so many Indian chefs through the world. Think about, you know, Himanshu, for example, is one of them. Or, you know, or Gagan, who's expressing Indian food in Thailand. You know, I'm like, I know what we are talking about. And I feel all these kind of amazing things that reminds me all the different little places in Italy, and the difference that, you know, you have from Piemonte to Sicily, from Veneto to Tuscany. Completely different.
When you consider that Italy is not that large, say, compared to India, the variations are enormous, right? From the north and the European style cooking in the north to the spicier cuisine in the south. It's not unlike us in terms of variations.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you have to know and look at the history. Yeah. Emilia-Romagna is in the middle.
Which is where your restaurant is.
Is where my restaurant is, Modena, the food valley. Yeah. The valley of the Po River. So the rich valley where food has been like there since ever. On the coast, the east coast of the Adriatic Sea was about the Pope, the Stato Pontificio. But south was about the Medici, the family, the
famous Florentine family.
Exactly. Northeast is Veneto. They were for many centuries under the Austro-Hungarics. Yeah. The west side, till Parma. Parma is a small town that was the farthest part of the French colonization. And Parma is very French as Piemonte. So if you look at that, and you have a very important identity in Modena, Reggio Emilia, and Ferrara, because Modena, Reggio Emilia, and Ferrara, they were like the Duke of Este. Yeah. They were like protecting Modena and Ferrara, because and they were very protected by the Austrian, because one of the daughter was married by to the Austrian king and the Spanish because the other daughter was married by the King of Spain. So they were very protecting. And what they invest, they didn't have to invest money on army, but they invest on social projects, like big hospital, like these canals, everything, and but also art and artisans.
And culture.
So they brought the best artisan, the best artist to, and one of the things that the Duke of Este had is like an amazing collection of paintings, that now we have in Modena. Yeah.
But as we're talking about this, do you, first of all, like most Italians, believe that when Catherine de' Medici went to France, she taught the French how to eat and certainly how to use a fork?
Oh my God! She teach how to use a fork to the barbarians. Yes,
the French.
Barbarians. But north of the Alps, barbarians. No, right.
Norsemen.
We all talk like that. Like the culture was under the Alps, south of the Alps, north of the Alps.
Northwind.
So Caterina, she had to go up there and teach how to use properly the knife and the fork, and how to eat one bite at a time and not grab a piece of like, I'm joking, I'm joking.
He says a little too late, but Italians believe this. You guys believe this. You believe you taught the French civilization when it comes to
you imagine that the Roman philosopher 2,000 years ago, they switch the famous phrase of the Greek philosopher, we eat to live, we live to eat. Because the Roman philosopher, they understood that, a big party was more than a party.
Yeah.
In a party, you create lobbying, and probably for the day after, they vote at the Senate.
Yeah.
So the night before, the big party means big votes the day after to pass the law in the Senate.
Yeah.
So parties has always been something very special, and for us, and we understood that since 2,000 years. So sitting around the table and share a meal around the table is much more than just a simple meal.
And that's a very Italian thing.
It's very Italian. So I suggested to the government, and when the candidate, the Italian gastronomy as a patrimonio of the UNESCO, I suggest not to candidate the Italian little incredible biodiversity, but the poetry of all that, of sharing a meal around the table, the feeling, the family, all that. Because we all agree about that.
Because the French food is prose, Italian food is poetry.
Yes.
Yes, it's about the imagination.
I think so.
But that leads to the obvious question. Italian is now the world's most popular cuisine. There are more Italian restaurants of quality in the world, everywhere in the world, than any other cuisine.
Yeah.
How do you feel as an Italian when you go out and you see rubbish pizzas, when you see made-up dishes like spaghetti bolognese?
I knew that. I don't know. It's like... is a degeneration of something, and it's normal, like it's, for example, a slice of pizza is a slice of pizza. To me, pizza is something extremely difficult to make because of the flour.
Why? Because there are pizza shops in every corner.
Because the pizza, as I intend pizza, I intend... you start from the most amazing ingredients, and the most important thing is like the mother yeast that you have and the flour. Yeah. So this is how to make the dough, and the percentage of the water. So what we do, for example, even in Casa Maria Luigia, when we make pizza, we do an upper hydrated pizza or focaccia. That means, it's such a special dough that rises so much and so well that you can even touch it with your finger. So you have to know exactly how to use your finger to touch the dough, not to ruin the yeast.
That's an artisanal skill.
Yeah, that's a very important one. That 99.9% of the people, they don't even know what it is. Okay, So second, the temperature of the oven, the way you cook it, the tomato you use. Tomato is not a tomato. You know, I was like in 2 months ago in Japan, you know, eating at in my Osteria Gucci in Japan, in Ginza, and Antonio showed me.
Antonio is a very talented
Antonio
chef.
is Antonio
Very
Jacoben,
talented chef.
very talented chef, Napolitan chef who managed a restaurant in the middle of 25 Japanese chefs. Imagine what was going on. It's like sparkle.
A bit of chaos from Naples
A bit
well organized.
Exactly what I wanted. And he was showing me this amazing pasta and tomato. And I said, Antonio, this is not pasta and tomato. This is a dessert. And we moved that pasta as the last touch of the tasting menu.
Really?
Yeah, because it was one of the best pasta and tomato I ever tried in my life. So when I hear pasta and tomato, you know, to me it's like, wow. It's like when I hear, oh, I'm gonna add some balsamic vinegar. Come some balsamic vinegar? Some balsamic vinegar. You know, what year? What wood? How much? You know, it's like, it's incredible. Like some Parmigiano. What kind of milk? Where it comes from? How much you age the Parmigiano? You know, it's completely different. You know, so it's such a complex things that, you know, when they talk about pizza as pizza, oh, I'm gonna eat a slice of pizza. I'm in shock. I'm not. You know, to me, it's like I'm a man of obsessions.
Yes.
Details.
Passion.
The passion and obsession. The obsession about quality in everything. In a carpet, in a curtain, in the light that these guys are filming. You know, they make us very warm and cozy, you know, with the light they use. You know, those kind of things that makes the difference in life. So when you get the right San Marzano, naturally cooked, steam as has to be, you know, a San Marzano that grow in a volcanic soil, it's like the best of the best. Yeah. So you don't have to add anything because as such a perfect balance between acidity, sweetness, a pinch of crystal, beautiful flakes, salt flakes, and some green herbs, could be an oregano, could be basil, and let the San Marzano express himself. So, and you mix it with a little bit of olive oil, you know, and to get a little bit pungent at the end. On top of this focaccia, hyperhydrate focaccia, you cook it for 3/4.
Yeah.
Then you take it off. You slice the fresh mozzarella.
Yeah.
You put it on top of that. You put it in the oven to reheat because the mozzarella doesn't have to be melted on top of that because it's already melted and you don't digest it.
Yeah.
So, and you take it off and you bite and it disappears in the palate, leaving just a perfect umami. That's pizza.
Not pizza as we understand it, but pizza as you know. But you also are from Emilia Romagna, which has contributed the second most popular Italian dish after pizza to the world, except that you don't know it in your own region, spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah, that's you want to play jokes with me, right? Yeah, spaghetti bolognese, they don't exist. First of all, spaghetti are from south of Italy, and bolognese sauce is from where Bologna. I am. Yeah. So, and spaghetti needs to be served with a velvety sauce, as tomato, for example, and or the pesto, for example, or like the melted cheese sauce, velvet, you know, because when you roll the pasta, you roll it and you have sauces and pasta on the
all
fork.
of which cling to the spaghetti.
Yes, of course. If you serve a bolognese sauce, you roll the pasta and you just have the pasta because the bolognese sauce is there. So it's like it's a contradiction. But some immigrants probably they had spaghetti
either in England or America, but nobody's really sure.
I think is probably American.
American?
Yeah, I'm probably is that. And so what I keep saying, to the guys, at least explain, how people ask. But it's not that, it's not that you don't have to serve it. You do whatever you want. But it's not something that I believe, and so that's why I create the crunchy part of the lasagna, just to transform spaghetti and rejoin with bolognese sauce.
But Chef, a lot of what you do comes not just from cooking and from cooking traditions, but from the culture of your region. You will look at the history, you will look at the art, you will look at the literature, and all of that goes into your food. Has that always been true?
It's not just my region, because if you look deep into my food, there's a lot of, very extreme regions like Sicily or Piemonte.
Right.
Like, think about, we should never stop planting. It's all about this chopped meat, we change the texture on that, all dehydrated power of, topinambur, Jerusalem artichokes, and stuff like that. And on top of like truffle and seeds and, like the Piemonte landscape, rebuild the Piemonte landscape. It's very inspiring, this very north and very south.
Right.
But of course, Emilia-Romagna is the region that inspired me most to paint like a kid.
Yeah.
Because at the end, I'm painting like a kid. And Picasso was always saying that. Picasso was always saying, I was drawing as Raffaello since I was 13, and it took the whole life to paint like a kid. And I'm cooking like a kid, because I know that cooking like a kid with knowing everything and forget about everything, I'm transferring emotions, because I touch the chord of memories when you were a kid, when she was a kid, when he was a kid, and wow, that's changed everything.
But often in a plate, you may be making, say, a pasta or whatever, but what you're really doing, if you're a great chef, is you're transferring your emotion and your passion onto the plate. So when they eat the food, they don't just get the taste of the dish, but they get the passion.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
If you are able to transfer that kind of passion, it's how you transfer emotion to all your guests.
Yeah.
And it's not just about good food that tomorrow you're going to already forget, but it's about emotion that is going to stay with you forever.
So it's the experience of emotions.
Yeah. It's like, think about what we do, like in the new tasting menu. No, the new tasting menu in Osteria Francescana is called Globale, means global, means we dedicate this to the Francescana family. And the new tasting menu, it's about our family in Japan, in Los Angeles, Dubai, Seoul, Singapore, Florence, everywhere. And, and it's all about, there's so many stratification of creativity in that is like, it's very complex to understand.
Yeah.
But at the end, even if you don't wanna know, at the end it's about good food. I have, this pre-dessert that is inspired by India, by this place.
Really?
Of course, it's one of my favorite place in the world, so I had to. So it's like we cook curry lentils.
Okay.
All right. Keep it, but we cook it adding some orange juice from Sicily. And what we do, we cook it till they're like almost dry, and we put it in the dehydrator.
Okay.
We powder it, and we add some flour and egg white, and we make a pasta called fregola, Sardinia style. All this pasta goes and be finished in spicy curry and orange juice with jasmine flower inside. We finish at the bottom with coffee and orange peel, confit, pasta on top, and we grated some orange that is being concentrated in the oven, grated on top. Spray roses
In the air.
in the air.
Okay.
And you smell roses and jasmine. And you are in Delhi in the moment I was walking yesterday into this hotel with the jasmine flower. You know, I felt exactly as I feel every day in Osteria Francescana when I spray the rose on top of the plate of our customer. This is what I mean to transfer emotion. This is the experience of one after the other, serving a pasta as handmade pasta as a dessert in Osteria Francescana.
And using dal, Indian lentils as the base.
Yes.
Final question. If you have a tombstone, what would you want it to say? Here lies Massimo Bottura, who created some of the world's greatest dishes, or here lies Massimo Bottura, who made so many people happy?
I think this is what I want. I hope so.
Yeah.
Because sharing joy and happiness is the purpose of my job.
And you've done it.
And cooking is an act of love. For in a 3 Michelin star or in a soup kitchen. Because
or a mother cooking for her children.
Yeah, that's what
No
it is.
love, no cooking.
No love, no cooking.
Chef, thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you
been
so
an
much.
Absolute pleasure.
Grazie.
Thank you. Thank you.